Hello, my name is Mark Towler. I'm a senior product expert here at Progress, and I'm going to talk to you today about what's new in WhatsUp Gold 2021.1. What is WhatsUp Gold 2021? Well, it is the latest version of our award-winning network monitoring and alerting solution. I'm assuming most of you are familiar with it if you're here. If you're not familiar with it, please go to whatsupgold.com to learn more, or we'll be happy to give you some detailed answers in the Q&A session at the end of this webinar. But this particular version was available as of September 21st, 2021. That's when we released it. And it includes a number of improvements to WhatsUp Gold that will improve your usability and security while using it. That includes log management archiving, OpenID Connect authentication. We've added support for some additional Cisco Meraki wireless devices, as well as support for Microsoft Edge. And I'll go into all of these in a little bit more detail as we go forward. And we'll start with log management archiving. As you may recall, in WhatsUp Gold 2021, we added a log management functionality to WhatsUp Gold. And this architecture diagram is actually very, very similar to the last one. You can see at the bottom right, we've simply added an archiving functionality to the existing Elasticsearch database where all the logs are stored. What this is going to do is allow you to very easily and very easily to understand archive log data that's in your WhatsUp Gold interface and put it wherever you'd like. Basically, you can customize which logs you want to archive. You can configure specific timings for how you want them archived. You can determine where you want to store them, how long you want to store them for, what kind of storage solution you want to use, and what kinds of constraints you want to put on that storage. You can filter your logs, any type of log, to archive all of them or specific subsets. And once those logs are all archived, you can search the archives, you can restore from those archives, or you can purge that archived log data at any time. And again, all from within the WhatsUp Gold interface. So why have we done this? There's some major benefits that come along with log management archiving. One of it is something that a lot of our customers are asking for. A big piece of it too is we have customers that are especially in government and healthcare verticals who are under specific regulatory requirements that impact logs. They have a requirement, either it's externally enforced by their local government, or it's something that's an internal compliance requirement that they have to comply with. But either way, they are required to maintain logs for a certain amount of time. As such, just storing them in a flat file in the flat database in the Elasticsearch database is not necessarily the best option. So what we want to do is give them the ability to do proper log management archiving so that they can comply with those issues that they're required to comply with. It's also going to ease up some of the storage requirements on the Elasticsearch database. If you're just dumping in logs, as most of you probably know, log data can add up very, very quickly. So that will clog up your Elasticsearch database eventually, and it'll have some performance impacts on WhatsUp Gold. Archiving logs regularly allows you to offset all of that data elsewhere and will keep your performance at top capacity. The nice thing too here is we know different organizations have different requirements or different preferences as to where they store logs. So we want to make sure that you can use whatever storage system you want to archive that log data, whether it's on premise, in the cloud, RAID array, you name it. You can do whatever you want, and we've left it very, very open. And I'll demonstrate this in just a second. It's very important, of course, to be able to access those archived logs. Part of those whole regulatory requirements so that you can go back 4 years and see exactly what happened at this particular point for this particular reason for whatever. That's a key part of the whole log archiving functionality. You can search, retrieve those logs, and put them back into the system if you ever need to. And again, all of this can be done within the WhatsUp Gold interface. So we're keeping it simple. We're not making you go to another either less capable or more expensive solution. You can do all of your log management and all of your log management archiving from within WhatsUp Gold. So let's take a look at what it looks like. Here within WhatsUp Gold, you can access your log management archiving functionality by selecting Settings, Log Management, and Log Management Settings. Now, these are the same Elasticsearch archiving or log management settings you've used in the past, but we've added the ability down here to enable archive logs. Once you've done that, you'll be able to choose a specific archive location. It can be anything you want. You will have to provide credentials to it so we can access it. Once WhatsUp Gold's accessed it, it will be able to tell you how much space is available. You can then choose how long to hold on to your logs, any number of days, months, years, or even forever if you'd like. You can save a lot of space, up to 90% of the archive logs, by choosing to activate compression as well. We strongly recommend this, whether or not you are choosing to keep your logs forever. Once you've started archiving logs, you can look at the logs that you've already archived, again through Settings, Log Management, and Archived Logs. Now this display is organized by date. It will show you the types of logs that are being archived, either Windows Event or syslogs. They're archived separately. And the log count, how many logs are in each one of those archives, the archive file name, its size, and its location. This snapshot column will give you information about the criticality of the logs within each archive. They'll either show you errors in red, or pure information in blue, or warnings in yellow. This way, at a glance, you can get an idea of which logged archives have the most errors that you may wish to look at. Now, restoring from any of these archives is simple. Simply select it, hit the restore button, confirm your choice, and depending on the size of the log archive, it might take a few minutes, a few seconds to a few minutes. Either way, that's now restored and you can use it. And that's log archiving. Another piece that we've added is OpenID Connect capabilities. Now, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but OpenID Connect is a third-party authentication solution. It's a token-based security solution that's basically an open access system. What we've done is we've added this because customers are looking for it. If you look on the right side, you can see the interface is pretty straightforward. You're just selecting another option for external authentication other than the Active Directory and LDAP and Cisco ACS server that we already support. You can now choose OpenID Connect. The advantage here is that OpenID Connect is very flexible. There's a lot you can do with it. And what we're doing is opening a door. You can take advantage of things like Azure Active Directory, Cisco ISE, multi-factor authentication, or really any other token-based external authentication tool or functionality that works with OpenID Connect. We have tested it with Auth0 and Azure Active Directory. The advantage here for you is that anything that you can come up with that works with OpenID Connect, and you can get more details on exactly what that does at their actual developer's website, is something you can use to authenticate WhatsUp Gold users. The value here, of course, is that it's going to help you strengthen your overall security posture. We know security is a buzzword that keeps coming back up, and it's been very popular over the last year due to a number of high-profile hacks. It's very clear that network monitoring solutions tend to be prime targets simply because they are touching every other system in your network. So as such, how we control access to WhatsUp Gold is top of mind for a lot of our customers. And this is one of the things they requested. If you are putting all of your users and applications across one external authentication system like OpenID Connect, you can now add WhatsUp Gold to that, and that's going to make it easier to administer all of those users. It's going to simplify access to WhatsUp Gold for WhatsUp Gold users using things like single sign-on, for example, and it is just giving you another external authentication option. Not everyone's going to want it, but it is there if you'd like to use it. And a couple of other smaller items. We have enhanced support for our Cisco Meraki wireless capabilities. We've been supporting Cisco Meraki for quite some time. We are now supporting the MX100 security appliance and the MS125-24 port switch. These are somewhat newer, or at least more recent, I should say, Meraki solutions that we're now better supporting. And the advantage for our customers, again, is you have more choices when it comes to what you want to implement in your Meraki wireless network and what you want or need us to monitor. And this one is another customer request that's been, frankly, a long time coming. We wanted to enhance support for web browsers. As most of you know, WhatsUp Gold is now completely accessed through a web browser. And we were supporting Internet Explorer, Firefox, and Chrome. As many of you know as well, Internet Explorer is being deprecated and support for it is starting to go away. So we've updated our support for browsers to include Microsoft Edge as well as Firefox and Chrome. And again, the benefit here for our customers is you get to use the browser of your choice in order to access WhatsUp Gold. And finally, the question we always get asked is, okay, how do I try WhatsUp Gold 2021.1? Well, it's available as a free trial, like all of our current versions, at whatsupgold.com. It's a great big red download free trial on every single page, one click, and you can download a 14-day version for you to use. There's also a live demo. You can check it out. It's interactive. It's a read-only, but you can take a look at what it looks like and take a look at some of the items we just saw with the log management functionality. And with that said, I think I'm ready to take some questions. So thank you very, very much for attending today, and I hope you've had a good day. All right, folks, thanks very much for joining us. And I understand if people need to drop off, but we are going to be happy to answer any questions you might have. If you haven't had a chance yet, please feel free to add the questions to the question manager tool that's in your lower right, and we will go through them as long as we've got some time. So first question that came up is, can the system monitor Meraki access points? And did I hear you say that? Yes, you did hear me say that. WhatsUp Gold does completely support monitoring of the entire Meraki system. We do that by accessing Meraki's web-based access point management system through their API. So anything you can do with Meraki, we treat all the Meraki devices just as like any other device. So we're still completely agnostic. That's exactly what's going on with that. It's just treated like any other wireless access point when setting that up in WhatsUp Gold. Does it support Meraki MX250? I honestly, that's not one of the ones we just mentioned, right? Jason, do you have that? Do you know that one off the top of your head?
Sorry, I'm on mute here.
That's all right.
Technically speaking, WhatsUp Gold can support anything that's SNMP capable. I would say yes, as long as you have SNMP enabled properly on the Meraki device end. So there's a couple different places to enable SNMP when it comes to Meraki. You'll want to focus on the one that enables it locally, not the cloud SNMP. Meraki has a good knowledge base article about that.
Excellent. Thank you, Jason. We have a question here about someone with WhatsUp Gold version 18.3. Is there some documentation on the upgrade process or a support number? Absolutely. First of all, feel free to contact our support at any time. If you have an active maintenance agreement, upgrades are always free. So you can upgrade any of your software via the Progress community. That's at community.progress.com, and in there you will have an option, an area where all of your software lives, and you can download updates directly from there. Going back to 2018, you may have to upgrade to 2019 first, and then from there to 2021 or 2021.1 as you prefer. We do support going back to about 2017 or so. Previous to that, you may have to do some interstitial steps. But again, get in touch with support. They will definitely walk you through it. Can you show us again where the log archiving feature is? I can't because I'm not able to share my screen at this point, but it's in the menu structure. If you look up under settings and log management, we've added in 2021.1 a log archive function that's right in there. The actual settings for log archiving are part of the same settings wizard, or I should say interface for log management. Everything in WhatsUp Gold should be really easy to find. And if not, there is a great big search bar in the upper right, or search box, I should say. You can search for individual devices or settings or anything like that there, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Our version of WhatsUp Gold does not have log management, and it appears we do not have a license for it. How much would it be to add on? That's an excellent question, and it's going to depend on what version of WhatsUp Gold you've got. WhatsUp Gold's available in two main flavors right now. There's a WhatsUp Gold Premium, which is the base WhatsUp Gold functionality with the ability to add on different advanced features like network traffic analysis or log management or virtualization monitoring. In those cases, you would be purchasing that add-on at the capacity you require, and it would be priced accordingly. If you want to, for example, monitor, 5 log devices, it's going to cost something completely different. Or sorry, 5 log sources, it's going to cost you something different than if you want to monitor 20 log sources. The other flavor that WhatsUp Gold's available in is the Total Plus edition, and that is full featured. It has every single feature that WhatsUp Gold supports, and it is run by points instead of devices. So with WhatsUp Gold in general, you're licensed by the number of devices you want to monitor, and then you can apply as many actual monitors to those devices as you'd like. So there's a 4-port router or a 128-port switch. We treat it as one device, and you're charged accordingly. For Total Plus, the exact same concept applies, except that we use points instead of devices because devices are simply one point, but all of those add-ons I mentioned earlier, network traffic analysis, application performance monitoring, log management, they all cost an additional 10 points. And the advantage here is that Total Plus, if you're using a lot of add-ons, is usually a better deal, and it's also a lot easier to just shuffle points around as you need them. So if you have a Total Plus license, you do have log management. You may need to reinstall to determine if it's to get it activated, but you do have log management, and it's just a matter of assigning points, and then it's 10 points per log source. Need a clarification regarding Azure Server. How to purchase remote desktop license for Azure Server. Honestly, that's a bit outside of our scope. That would be a question for the Microsoft Azure support team, unless I'm misunderstanding the question. Is there or will there be support for an external login support, such as a URL check for login to Google? To be perfectly honest, that's not something I've seen on the roadmap. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. If that's something you're looking for, one option is to go to our community and join and make a request. We do have a feature request solution that allows every user, anyone really, to suggest features to WhatsUp Gold. Those are seen directly by our development and engineering teams, and in fact, they are voted on and can be voted on by all community users. So we pay close attention to what people like, what people are finding popular, and that's how that's one of the ways we determine our roadmap and development. Although it sounds like, did Jason have some commentary on this particular feature? He's mentioning end user monitoring. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Yeah.
within the application monitoring add-on module to WhatsUp Gold, or if you have Total Plus, you have access to it. Basically allows you to do exactly what you're describing, and it's not limited to just login. You can go through an entire sequence of events. So let's say you want to log into a page, then click to a link and make sure a certain image on that page is loading. That's possible with the application monitoring and the end user monitoring component.
Thank you, Jason. Question here, is Microsoft SQL still necessary? Yes, it is, and I believe we still ship WUG with the MySQL as well. So we've got a basic SQL server that comes with the product, but there's no reason you can't use something. I'm sorry, no MySQL for install. Do you want to clarify this one, Jason?
Sure. So when installing WhatsUp Gold, the only option is to use Microsoft SQL. We
Okay.
ship with 2017 Express, but you could use any version of SQL, either be local or remote. The catch being it must be Microsoft SQL above version 2012.
Thank you, Jason, keeping me honest. I believe at one point in the past we did ship with a different version of MySQL or MS SQL, but we do ship with SQL, so we don't leave you to provide your own database right out of the box. Can we back up the Meraki configurations to WhatsUp Gold? Yes, you can with our configuration management add-on. Again, it's included in Total Plus, or it's available as an add-on. And this one actually is unique in that it's either on or off. It doesn't actually have a point cost or a device cost. The configuration management add-on allows you to simply back up and restore configurations for any device, Meraki servers, routers, whatever, and keep track of them. It's actually quite useful. There's a really neat interface that lets you look at current and past configurations and highlights the differences so you can see what's been changed. And of course, you get alerts on that. We do know, and I want to be clear, WhatsUp Gold is not a security tool per se, but we do know we've got a number of customers who find intrusions or use intrusion prevention functionality based on whether or not someone's modified configurations, because often once people gain access, the first thing they do is modify the configuration or modify the router or the access point so that they can get in it again. And WhatsUp Gold can alert you on that. It can show you what's changed, and it can even automatically, if you want, restore the original configuration. Having installed the evaluation version of WhatsUp Gold, the device scan button is nowhere to be found. Is that feature not present in the evaluation version, or am I the one who failed to find? Device scan should very well be there. That's kind of the very basic functionality. It should be it should be something you can do through the menus. If you're having difficulty with that, I'd actually recommend reaching out to support. It should be at the top menu under Discover and then New Scan, and that should initiate a device scan. And then you get a whole set of options on exactly how you want to configure that scan. Ooh, 3 questions. If I heard correctly, any SNMP enabled device can be integrated. Does that mean Cisco Catalyst, Cisco routers, and other providers like Juniper, Dell, and Aruba can also be housed? Don't know about housed, but you can definitely monitor anything that we can talk to using either SNMP, WMI, or ping. If we can talk to it and it isn't using some super exotic, communication format, we can monitor it, period. 2, does it integrate with Active Directory and act as an end user MFA? We do not directly support MFA in WhatsUp Gold. However, our authentication support through OpenID Connect may allow you to implement MFA by using OpenID Connect. Again, we're effectively authenticating via an OpenID Connect token. So if your implementation of OpenID Connect will support MFA, then that's one way to do MFA on WhatsUp Gold. And continuing, does it support integration of third-party services like portal addresses to point and use a single sign-on? Okay, again, similarly, we are not actually supporting single sign-on, but that is something that may now be supported via OpenID Connect. Some of these we haven't tested, but OpenID Connect has an entire access control ecosystem with a variety of different functionality. This is one of the reasons why our customers were asking for it, and one of the reasons why we initially supported it. So some of the things you're asking to do can probably be done via OpenID Connect. I believe we've tested the Azure Active Directory, and there was one other one, which I kind of highlighted and went through quickly. But in general, you need to understand that we're simply looking for an OpenID Connect token, and that lets you in. Exactly how you get that token is between you and your OpenID Connect implementation. I will note that we do not have built-in support in WhatsUp Gold for either MFA or Active Directory. There's a question here about monitoring via IPMI, and I don't necessarily have an answer for you on that, but we would strongly recommend that you join our customer validation program. You can find that at whatsupgold.com/CVP. That will give you some additional information. It will also give you the ability to influence development on that. I think that may be something that our development team is considering, so your input would be very much appreciated in terms of what you want to monitor and how. So short answer, not right yet, but quite possibly, and quite possibly sooner if you want to have a moment to talk to us. Someone here has asked about backing up Meraki switch configurations. Sorry if you missed that, but yes, you can do that via the configuration management tool as I described earlier. Is it possible to authenticate against Azure, and is there documentation for the setup? Again, I think that's an OpenID Connect solution. I think actually. Do you want to weigh in on this one, Jason? I'm not sure. I'm gonna tag it towards you because I'm not sure if that's asking about Azure AD or using Azure AD through OpenID Connect.
I must have missed the question. I'm sorry.
Sorry, the question here is it possible to authenticate against Azure, and is there documentation for the setup?
Oh, sure. So yeah, that would definitely be through OpenID Connect.
That's what I thought.
So you would need to be on the latest release where we introduce that functionality, and then basically configure your Azure Active Directory to talk to the WhatsUp Gold servers OpenID Connect setup. But in terms of documentation, I'm actually not positive if the Azure setup steps are documented by us specifically, but I know that Microsoft does document those types of things. So I would encourage you to reach out to Microsoft to get that documentation on the Azure Active Directory configuration end.
Thank you, Jason. Question here about we're using WhatsUp Gold 2020. What are the major changes in 2021? Well, depending on which version that came out in 2020, there's 2020 and there's 2020.1. We've done a number of things that have significantly improved it. Kind of the top of mind really is we added the log management functionality. We've significantly improved the reporting structure and the reporting engine to optimize it for HTML, whereas kind of in the past it was more optimized for print. So it's definitely creating it's definitely creating reports faster and making it easier to mail them around. And then there's been a ton of additional support for additional items, things like the Meraki devices. I believe we've added storage support for specific storage devices, and depending on which version of 2020 you're in, we added outbound APIs, which make it a lot easier to use REST API to integrate WhatsUp Gold with applications. Honestly, there's almost too much to go over. I would really strongly recommend taking a look at the docs.ipswitch.com site, where you can find the release notes and the specifics of what's new in each version, going back about 10 or 12 versions. So that's really the easiest way to do it. Go take a look there at what's in yours version, and then check the next two. And each release note at the start has a brief what's new in this section, so you can get an idea. And in terms of updating, and yes, similar question, if you want to update, we strongly recommend you back up your database. It's really, really kind of essential. And possibly the WUG application. Generally, we do not have any issues with upgrading, and you can upgrade on top of your existing system, but backing up the database is absolutely strongly recommended. You do not want to lose all of your settings and configuration and rediscover your entire network again and lose all that content. But generally, you can update right on top of each other. Again, if you're looking at, in this specific case, you're talking about upgrading from 2020, that's going to be a direct upgrade. If you're working on an older version, anything older than probably 2019, you may have to do an interstitial upgrade to something like 2019 before you can upgrade to the current 2021.1. Question maybe for Jason. Someone asked, will a VM snapshot do the trick too?
That's a trick question, but I'll answer it anyways. And best practices tell you that you should not rely on a virtual machine to snapshot in order to provide a crash consistent backup of a database. The best practice from Microsoft, they say you should create an actual .back file in some sort of way. I would never recommend anyone rely on simply a snapshot to back up their database because Microsoft says so, basically. I've never personally seen anything go wrong with it, but I tend to err on the side of caution and follow whatever the best practices are recommended.
Thank you, Jason. That's an excellent insight. And again, I'll just state that when involving things like backup, it is never, ever a bad idea to make them multiply redundant and make as many backups if necessary as necessary. And honestly, it brings to mind a quote I heard from one of our customers who was talking about just life in general as an IT manager. Where he says the key to being an IT manager is to be paranoid, but the question you have to ask yourself is, are you paranoid enough? So keep that in mind when determining whether or not you should make a backup. All right, and there's a request here for the link. Let me drop that in there. And it looks like our questions are slowing down a little bit. I've got one here. Is there a maximum storage limit for archived logs? There is not. It's really going to depend on how much storage space you want to allocate and how much you want to pay for it. If you've got a ton of logs that are, or ton of log sources that you're archiving and you want to keep that forever, you can do it. Just be prepared to pay for storage costs because that will add up fairly quickly. And I think that is our last question here. I'm glad it sounds like this has been helpful, and I'm glad it sounds like everyone's had some good input and feedback. If there are questions we have not answered or that occur to you later, you're more than welcome to join us on community.progress.com, where you can ask questions of the entire community, and our technicians and engineering team also pays attention to these. So, and our support teams. If you have WhatsUp Gold, you are more than welcome also to contact our customer support team. They'll be just as happy to help you out. And again, you can find out how to do that on whatsupgold.com. There's a button there for support. If you haven't tried WhatsUp Gold, or if you're on an older version and want to give it a shot, as I said, you can download an eval copy from whatsupgold.com. 14-day. It's a full Total Plus edition, free trial. It's unrestricted, so as many devices as you want to throw at it, and it also supports advanced or more complex features like distributed monitoring, where you'd be setting up multiple servers. It only lasts for a short time, but it's a good way to get a nice flavor of what's new and what's changed. And again, if you're looking at tracking modifications, that's kind of what our release notes are for. You can find all our documentation on docs.ipswitch.com. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate this, and we will be in touch later. Thanks very much for spending the time with us today.